Whoa, hello, hello, hello. It's Dan and
And
Tim going live tonight. How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing great.
Uh, I wanted to do this live with you tonight because you said some interesting things in the chat when I was talking with you earlier, and I wanted to get them. I wanted to get them out there if you're willing to share them. So
Okay.
I thought it would be an
I-
interesting. I thought it would make for an interesting live stream. Welcome,
Okay.
8 main people in here for joining us. So before we get into that, just wanted to say hello to everybody. You want to say anybody hello to anybody in particular there, Tim?
Well, hello everybody. Hey, I don't want to leave anybody out.
Hey, you know something? The thing is that I'm impressed by your sense of humor. That was the first thing that caught my attention. Tim has a Tim has a sense of humor, albeit it's a little bit drier than mine, I think, and I'm pretty dry. I'm so dry that I'm dusty. Uh,
I'm so dry the Sahara Desert offered to give me water.
that's pretty dry. So anyway, the one thing that we were talking about is I really don't know your story about how you ended up in the Philippines, and kind of hoping that you would be willing to share that with us.
Okay. Should I start from 2011 or 2012?
Start wherever you feel comfortable starting, and don't reveal anything that might get somebody in trouble.
Well, I came here with a Filipina I know from Texas,
Hmm.
and she invited me to come here on vacation. She was coming here on vacation. I came a few days after she got here. Enjoyed it, stayed 3 weeks, then I went home. About a year and a half later, I said, well, I'll pull the plug. I got rid of everything, you know, got rid of my apartment, got rid of my car.
Whoa, time out. You mean that you decided that you were going to move over here after just one 3 week visit?
Yeah,
And you said you liked it enough that you knew for sure you were going to come over here.
yeah. I
Oh,
mean, had a little ups and downs and tripping over myself and getting mad at myself a few times, but you want to know something? If you don't take a chance now, when are you going to take it?
hey, you know who's in the house? LV just stepped into the chat. LV,
LV, LV,
LV,
LV,
LV,
LV.
LV. You know something, Tim? I don't know. Have you been in LV Rose's? Have you been on her channel when she's doing her live?
I have not. I'm going to be honest, I have not.
Well, I was lurking in there today, LV. LV, I was lurking in your channel today, and I found the subject matter to be extremely provocative. So I just thought I would tell you that I was listening the whole time you were in there comparing bananas. So
So,
anyway,
Dan, are you telling me it was so provocative that your shirt even started blushing and it's still blushing now?
yeah, it was that kind of a show. Yeah, I was listening to every word that was being said. I'll tell you what, had I gone in there, I would have just shut everybody down.
Well,
LV,
we
I would have just shut everybody down.
we better say hello to Crystal and Anna Mae and LV
Yeah.
and
Welcome,
Charmaine.
everybody. 9 mean people in the house so far. Now, so continue on with your story because now I want you to get to the part. I want you to talk a little bit about how you ended up in Sacramento, what part of Texas, and all. If you wouldn't mind sharing that.
Well, in 1987, I worked at a golf course in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't I wasn't a pro. I was an assistant to the caretaker, the guy that mowed the lawn. And it was bad weather, and all of a sudden, well, we don't need you for 3 months. I said, what? No money? No job? No money? Yeah. And I said, heck with it. I joined the Air Force. I spent a year in Korea, come back from Korea. Well, before I went to Korea, I went to Sacramento for 5 years and 2 months.
Oh, you poor man.
I was at Mather until 2 months before they closed the base.
Dang. So let me ask you a question. Do you remember Watt Avenue?
Yeah.
You sure do. What were things like back then on Watt Avenue?
We'll leave that unsaid.
I would say that Watt Avenue was our version of Walking Street to a certain degree, but it wasn't quite Walking Street.
Well, they
I
were
mean,
walking.
They were walking. And we did have we had a few clubs, we had a few bars there. Yeah.
In fact, I bought a new car, brand new car, from the Hyundai dealer that was down Watts Avenue. And I was complaining, hey, it's been 3 weeks, been a month and a half. When am I getting my license plates for the car? He called me up one day and he goes, they're here. I said, good. So when are you coming out to put them on my car? He was out half an hour later in his business suit, laying in the parking lot with tools, putting the license plates on my car.
No kidding. I don't even remember car dealerships being on Watt Avenue. That's how long ago it must have been.
Maybe it was Auburn.
Yeah, there still are a lot on Auburn Boulevard. That would make sense. The same
Auburn
people
Boulevard.
still own them too. Maida, Toyota. Yeah. Sound familiar?
He had a Hyundai dealer there.
Yeah, they had a lot. They had, all kind of dealerships. I don't know how many dealership brands they were selling under, but all different locations along Auburn Boulevard, owned by the same dude. So anyway, what part of Texas? So you were in the Air Force. You spent 5 years in Sacramento at the base. Now, a lot of people don't know we have 2 bases there, or we had at the time.
Well, we had 2.5.
That's right. We had the Army Depot, right?
We had Mather, we had McClellan, and then there was the Army Depot.
And Mather, right? So you had those.
I was at Mather.
You were at Mather. Oh, okay. So that even though the military is shut down, we still see military aircraft flying in there on occasion.
Yeah.
So maybe they have a refueling station there. Or something.
It's they have a reserve unit there.
Oh, they have a reserve unit. Yeah, that makes sense.
Considering they have all the facilities already there.
Right.
When they shut down, they gave the city and the county everything but the facilities for aircraft.
Ah, I see.
So technically, at one time they still had control of the flight line and the runways.
So then you were there, and you your time was up. Is that the reason for leaving Sacramento?
Well, They knew the base was closing, and they were starting to send people out, to other
Were you
bases.
did you ever have a civilian status on the base?
No, never.
You never did. You were military the
I
whole
was
time.
active duty military.
So did they offer to transfer you somewhere
So
after that?
okay, in the Air Force, I can't say about the Army or other organizations. In the Air Force, they have what they call a dream sheet,
Mm-hmm.
and you can fill that out and request up to 5 different assignments.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I put in for the Philippines. I was on the plane. The plane was taxiing down the runway to come to the Philippines, and they called the plane and they said, "Bring him back."
Got one more.
No, bring him back. Tim doesn't get to go to the Philippines.
You mean you were on the plane and they said bring it back?
Yep,
What a story. You got to be kidding me. So you were on the way to Clark. And what year was that?
that was probably early 1990.
You mean it's when Mount Pinatubo erupted and was destroying the base.
Before that,
It was before that. Okay. I think Pinatubo erupted in 96, right?
no,
Something
that
like
was
that.
91.
91. So it was before the eruption. And what was the reason for the recall?
Uh, the person that I was going to replace decided to stay, so they didn't have a space for me.
What luck. You'd be in Clark. You'd have been in Clark.
And I said, "Well, that happens." I just got my gear, walked back home, and got my old room back and everything.
Mm-hmm. So what was the next move? Because I know a lot of people ended up, a few friends
And
anyway,
then,
ended up in Ohio.
yeah, I have a lot of friends. Well, I have 2 friends in Ohio right now,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and they ended up sending me in March, April of 1992. I got orders to go to Osan Air Base, Korea.
Oh,
I
that's not
spent
bad duty.
I spent 14 months there. I got married there. Got married there in 1995, 94,
Married and
and
divorced.
well, I am now, but
Married and divorced a year later. Hey, Nicole's here, Anna Mae's here, Crystal's hanging in there with us. 6 million people in the house.
well,
Oh my goodness gracious.
so after I left Korea, I got on a plane to come back. They knew I was going to go to either Texas or Mississippi. Well, I had a friend that had the same options, and he had a special needs child,
Mm-hmm.
and he's from Mississippi, and he had, that's where the child's specialty doctors were. So we swapped. I went to Texas, he went to Mississippi. And then 2 months later, well, a month after that, I get orders to go to Mississippi for tech school. So I run into my friend. In fact, he was in the class behind me. After that, I went back to Texas, and I was there from July, August. Then I ended up going to, wait a minute. Before I went to California, I ended up at Chanute for a school which I flunked out of. Then I went to California. Then when I got done with training in Mississippi, I went back to Texas, to Randolph, and they decided they didn't need me for the job that they just spent 6 months training me for.
That sounds right. That sounds military to me.
So you'd never believe what I ended up doing.
Go ahead. Go for it. Tell us.
I ended up being a telephone operator, a military telephone operator for Randolph Air Force Base.
I'll be darned.
And I
And originally you're probably going to work the PABX system, right? And now you end up being an operator answering the phones.
No, for the time I was in California, in Korea, I was an assistant manager of the commissary system.
Oh, cool. Cool.
You know,
all the free food you can eat.
Nothing is free.
Yeah.
But, and I spent 3 years there. Then my enlistment was up, and they would not let me, due to budget cuts, I wasn't allowed to re-enlist.
Oh, yeah. I remember when all that stuff was going on. When were you actual boots on the ground in the Philippines?
Well, I was never boots on the ground in the Philippines until I moved here.
Yeah. What year was that?
I moved here in 2012.
All right. So now we were talking earlier, and then we were talking about the influence that the YouTube influencers that are drumming up the Philippines as being the cheapest place on the planet to live. What kind of an impact did that have, or what part, if any, did it play in your decision to move to the Philippines?
Well, I listened to, and 10, 12 years ago, there weren't many YouTubers talking about the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would take me an hour to find a YouTube channel based in the Philippines.
I see.
Because there was only like 6 or 7. Honestly.
Yeah,
And
those were the guys. There were guys that probably made it big because they were the only ones doing it at the time.
I mean, I don't know if you've ever gone to Philly in the Philippines.
Oh, sure.
Okay. He lives about, 6 kilometers from where I live right now.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't here. He was still in Pennsylvania.
Right.
There were no YouTubers that were here in Angeles City area, Mabalacat. They weren't here.
Right. Right.
I mean, there were plenty of Americans here. Heck, if I wanted to stay and talk to Americans all the time, I would have stayed in the States.
How do you feel now, though? Because the Americans have come to you.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't talk to too many Americans in person.
Oh, I see.
Why
is that? Why is that? In other
Well,
words, why is it that you don't talk to Americans, I guess, is what I want to ask.
Because most of them have their own problems. They're hiding from a bad relationship or financial difficulties or
you don't want to hear about it or
difficulties.
get wrapped up in it.
And I wasn't sent here to be an ATM for other Americans.
Oh, has anybody ever approached you asking you for money?
Yes.
I'm talking about another expat.
Yes.
Oh, really? No kidding. That's nervy, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And you know what I told them? If you don't have money, go get a job.
I bet you that
I
didn't
mean,
go over too well. I'll bet you it doesn't go over too well, huh?
but I mean, I talk to, well, I see you when you come into town. I see Breaking Traditions, BT, and Betty. I saw the Hapsters when they were here,
That's
when
cool.
she was here.
Mm-hmm.
I see Biggie and his wife, uh, Miss Muggs when she was in, well, when I first started watching her, which was about 4 years ago, she was in Taranaki City, right on the border of Pasay and Taranaki. I mean, she only lived like 10-minute walk to Manila Airport.
Hey, Jerry's here. Hi, Jerry. How's it going?
Hey, Jerry, good
Time
morning.
to get up and go to work.
And the only YouTubers I've met one, and he's not even active on YouTube right now. He's taking a sabbatical.
Who's that?
Philo.
Oh, yeah, Philo in the Philippines. What is going on with him? I mean, he started up again for a little while, and all of a sudden he disappeared.
Well, I think he just got burned out and all
Yeah.
that.
I mean, I
But
saw him
him,
walking around Astro Park a couple times.
but Philo used to go down to the Tequila Reef almost every day
Mm-hmm.
and have breakfast with Philly.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I really don't care for Philly, but that's just me.
Why is it? Why is it that I could take him or leave him? I watch him every once in a while. I'll watch his channel.
Well, I'll leave it. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, okay. You didn't
But
have a bad experience with him, did you?
no,
He's a
no,
little
no.
bit. You know, he's a different kind of guy. But I'd rather watch videos of him and his wife diving than you know.
Yeah.
I
And
mean, he buries his political beliefs in his commentary there. And so
but
you're-
I really don't go downtown to meet foreigners.
yeah.
I've had a few friends come in from the States. You know, I've gone to see them. In fact, one should be here this week sometime from Ohio.
Hmm.
I worked with him for 4 years in California at Mather. You
Well,
know,
since you've been in Mather, you probably guess why that I define or describe leaving Sacramento, California as being an escape.
well, see, I was never a resident of California,
Oh, I see. Uh-huh.
so I didn't have to put up with the taxes and all
Oh,
the.
yeah, they're absolutely insane there. They're getting crazier by the minute.
Now,
It's not that bothers me. None of that bothered me.
I,
You
I
know.
can say I can say one thing nice about the Sacramento Bee.
Hmm.
They called me up to try and get me to subscribe to their newspaper. And I told them, I said, that won't do any good. I don't know how to read. And get this. A week later, they had literacy volunteers coming to my office at work to teach me how to read.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But
That's a fantastic story.
they actually took the time to find a literacy volunteer to teach me to read.
Yeah, well, what they ought to do now is send literacy volunteers over there to teach them how to write. I mean, that paper, it was trash before, but it's worse now.
Yes, yes, Knitband, May 3rd.
Yeah. Wow. Mather
So,
Airfield. I can't remember how many times I flew from and landed there more than any other runway in the world. No kidding, Nit man. On a private
but
jet?
well, you know it's private jet. He's not going to
Of
take you
course, it would
around.
have to be his work's private jet, probably. Yeah.
But
So,
you know, I don't I don't miss California at all. About the only good thing about California is in Sacramento. It was 2 hours to San Francisco, 2 hours to Reno or Tahoe, 2 hours to mountains, 2 hours to desert. You could do anything you wanted within 2 hours.
mm-hmm.
Now it might be 2.5 hours now, with traffic, of course, but it was very centrally located, and you could do anything you wanted.
The good
Well,
old days.
within reason, of course. But Mather was in Rancho Cordova, and one day my supervisor invited me to go to his house for a pool party. He was having a pool party and barbecue. I got on my bicycle. I didn't drive at that point, and I went through Rancho Cordova, because I had to cross over 50,
Mm-hmm.
and there was an overpass. So I walked my bike up the overpass, rode it across, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, I just went through a neighborhood. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. There were no children, no people out, no dogs, cats, whatever. I turned around and I looked, and there's a firefight between the Rancho Cordova police and some drug dealers. And the police actually called the base and requested assistance because they were outgunned. But they actually waited for me to get out of the area because they knew I didn't belong there.
Wow. Amazing. That area hasn't changed much, by the way.
Well, when I
That
left,
particular that particular stretch, are you talking about Mather Field Road
yeah,
as it goes over Highway 50?
yeah.
Yeah, that hasn't changed much.
Well, when I left there, I used to call it Rancho Cambodia.
Well, yeah, it was pretty much a war zone. It pretty much still is. Of course, all of Sacramento is. One day, we should listen to the Sacramento Police Department and the Sheriff's Department's call for services. I should have that playing in the background. And that radio, that police radio, it's going, one call after another, one call after another. Shots fired, domestic violence, people chasing people down the street in road rage situations, those type of things.
Okay. Give me a
Nip
minute.
saying no more Dan cost cutting measures. Oh, you can't fly the private jet, Nip Ban. You should tell them that was their contractual obligation. Hey, Nip Ban, let me ask you a question. What kind of jet was that? Was that one of those Embraer jets? That's a beautiful bird, I'm telling you. I love that. I love the one that what's his name was flying when it got when it got taken down over there in Russia, over there in Moscow. I don't mean to go sideways. Okay, but who was on YouTube that you remember at the time that did you have anybody influence you, Tim, on your move
The people that
to
were
the
on
Philippines?
YouTube aren't even here anymore. I
Mm-hmm.
forgot the names because, I mean, they were just saying so much total misinformation. Like you
Oh,
still can
they weren't being straight, huh?
telling people they can live here on $300 a month. No, you can't. Well, you could, but you'd be living in a grass hut and eating a few vegetables that you stole out of somebody's yard.
Oh no. What would you say is a decent budget for living in the Philippines?
Well, I've been here over 11 years now,
Yeah.
and other than, helping the girlfriend out once in a while, I spend about 60,000 peso a month. That's my house rent. And this is a house. It's just shy of 100 square
So
meters.
60,000 pesos would be somewhere around at 51 would be somewhere around $1,200.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so how do you take care of like health care and things like that?
Healthcare, that comes out of my pocket.
Oh, you're self-insured. I mean,
Yes.
you're self-insured. And then have you run into any problems whatsoever about health care and getting your needs met that way?
No, I just had to make sure I had the money to take care of business.
Wow, Trickster Castro's here. So you would save the money if you didn't have, are you setting aside so much money a month to take care of your health care needs or emergencies when they arise?
No, see, that was just something that the VA would not cover.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you go to the VA, in Manila,
Yes.
and then
And that's,
they farm out whatever it is they can't do, and there's probably a co-payment associated with it.
well, they don't farm out much because the VA in Manila will only treat a member for service connected disabilities.
Yeah, but if it's not service related, do you get a
They
discount on medical care if you go there? In other words, can you still access it and get treated fairly there?
No, because they won't touch you for that.
Oh, they won't touch you at all. They won't even see you.
You could get hit by a car in the parking lot at the VA,
Hmm.
and if you could walk into the VA, they would tell you to go outside and they'll call an ambulance for you because they won't touch you.
So that's next door to the embassy, is it not? Something like that?
No,
Isn't it still on the Baywalk? Didn't I see it when Minnie and I were there last time
okay,
we went walking down the
you
Baywalk, and it seems like there's security everywhere over there.
okay? Do you know where Manila Bay Toyota is?
Yeah, yeah.
It's right across the street.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it butts right up to the what is it, Canetta Astrodome. But
Fox is here. 9 million people in the house. Thanks everybody for showing up. Appreciate it.
hey, Talks. Now, tell you what, everybody, since you're not used to seeing me or having me live, come up with a question.
Yeah, ask them
I'll
whatever.
try and answer it. I'll try and answer it. And if it's something I want, I'll tell you.
So $1,200, and when something comes up like, what is the most you had to pay for medical care out of pocket so far, thus far?
Well, I had some surgery in February,
Mm-hmm.
and that cost me 120K.
Okay.
That came out of my pocket.
120K, so that's $2,500 or $2,400, right? I mean, am I right?
Yeah, approximately.
Okay, approximately. And what kind of surgery was it, or what would it cost? If you don't want to share that with us, what would the same surgery had cost had you been in the United States and you had to pay out of pocket for it? Do you have any idea?
If I had that surgery in the States, it would have cost me anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000.
How long did it take you to save up the money in order to proceed with the surgery?
Well, I knew I needed it, so I had money put aside for it.
Oh, okay.
You know, it wasn't something planned, but it was planned, but it wasn't.
Okay, so if you were going to recommend to somebody how much money they should have set aside for medical, what would that number be? In other words, newbies that are coming over to the Philippines, because I'm self-insured also. Ma'am Minnie, she has Phil Health. We pay a quarterly payment on it. Every quarter we're paying money, right? But that only is going to cover her for something like 30% of the medical bills if she goes to a private hospital or a private doctor. So I mean, how does it work for you?
Well, for
What would you
me,
recommend? Yeah.
I would recommend having one of two things: $5,000 or the equivalent in pesos available for medical treatment, or $5,000 so you can get on a plane and go to the States and have it taken care
Because if it were chronic that required a lot of care, like let's say that Dan comes up with cancer and needs chemotherapy, I would go back to the States. I mean, because
of. Exactly. I mean,
yeah,
same.
all my costs would be covered there. I've got Medicare and I've got the supplemental plan, and I'd be
Yeah,
I'd be covered 100% in the States. Yeah.
yeah. Medicare doesn't do anything here, so
At $2,600, that's a plane ticket home and back. It
yeah.
would have run you $5,000 to go back to the States and then return back.
Now I could have had my surgery done at the VA in the
Mm-hmm.
States. They would have covered it,
They would have covered it.
but it would have cost me at that time. Price of tickets was $4,000,
Yeah. So that's a
and
that's a lot of dough.
then I would have had to have an apartment. I would have had to hire a driver
Yep.
or pay crazy taxi fees.
hmm So I mean, when I look at it, like I'm exploring the possibility of I am going around seeing doctors right now to see what they would charge for my procedure. I was surprised that the first doctor I came in contact with gave me his willingness to do the surgery and what the price of the surgery would be, just straight up front. The doctor's fee, not for the private room and all the other fancy stuff that I would want. But for the doctor's fee, it was slightly under $3,000 to do the same surgery that in the States would probably run $100,000. So I mean that's pretty substantial savings, I would say.
Well, the crazy thing is, here in the Philippines, they have doctor's fees, and then they have talent fees,
Mm-hmm.
and that can even be on top of the cost of the surgery itself.
Right, right.
Talent fee is extra. Oh, you
Mm-hmm.
need an anesthesiologist.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Their talent fee is this, on top of whatever their
Yeah,
doctor
I
fee
figured the
is.
whole thing for me probably would run, 5,000 or 6,000 bucks. Yeah.
I would
It's I don't
recommend.
need an thankfully it could be done with a local. I don't need an anesthesiologist. But one thing I did run into is that you still have to follow the same protocols here that you do in the States, which means that they wanted to send me to another specialist who would take care of the MRI and the CT scans, and then I have to see the traditional specialist for my problem, and then I would have to decline all those things to get back to the guy who I wanted to do the job, which was an interventional radiologist who has done it before. So in other words, they still make you go through all these changes to see all these people, which is going to cost money. You know, you still have to go through these protocols before you end up back with the specialist that you want to have do the actual procedure.
Well, I knew I needed to have surgery.
Mm-hmm.
I got a recommendation for a surgeon. I went to see the surgeon. He goes, "Yeah, you need the surgery, but you have to go to the cardiologist because of your
Yeah.
age."
That's what I mean. So even though he
That-
knows you need the surgery, you still have to go. You have to go and see an internist, a specialty doctor,
I
the
had to see five.
radiologist.
I had to see 5 different doctors, plus labs and X-rays and
Right.
everything else. So that was 30,000 pesos right there. That's not even counting the fees for the actual procedure.
Right. You know what? And you know what? When I told the internist what I wanted to do, he started pushing back on me, saying that's a crazy idea. He started actually pushing back, saying, "No, you don't want to do it that way." And so, even though he wrote the referrals out, right, he says none of these guys that you're going to go see believes in that process. You know, because they'll just tell you that. He says, "What are you trying to accomplish?" I said, "Well, what I'm trying to accomplish is I want to get another 12 years out of life I want 12 years of hassle-free living, you know." And he says 12 years. I go, "Yeah, that's all I'm trying to do." And I said, to go in and have major surgery to grasp an extra 12 years at my age. I said, I want the least evasive process that there is. Yeah, we don't do, I'm not a fan of that idea. And then he refers me to somebody else who is also not a fan of this idea, saying, "Here, go see this guy. He likes to cut." I said, I don't want people to cut on me.
But
Yeah.
you have to go through 5 people to find the person that will do the procedure or is
Right.
qualified and
Right.
that is accepting new patients.
Yes, I found him. I already got the guy lined up. I got the guy lined up already. He was easy to find. They sent me right to they call them interventional radiologists. They're the guys that put stents in the heart valves and all that to open them up. Those guys. I just wanted him to do a different procedure down below, and he's more than willing. He said, "I've done a couple of them," and then he says, "I need practice," and I said, "Well, practice makes perfect." He says, "I'm willing to do it." He said, "I'd love to do it."
Practice on somebody else. No practicing on me. You better
Well,
know
it's
damn
practice.
well what you're doing.
It's called practice for a reason. Sometimes you could have each patient is different. They go in there and they try and find some blood vessel that they find out doesn't exist because God decided you didn't need one of them. They bypassed it.
Hey, Mike. Good evening.
Mike
Good
is here.
morning. Menge.
So anyway, you had it all done, and tell me what what hospital did you go to? Was it a private, a public hospital?
I went to Medical Center Clark, which is a very private hospital.
That's a fine hospital, probably one of the best in the country.
Well, it's not as good as St. Luke's in Manila.
St. Luke's would be like number one, right?
From what I've been told, yes.
Yeah, for just about any kind of procedure, St. Luke's is what's happening. But you're going to pay for it. That's number one.
Yeah. It's like I see a doctor at Medical City Clark. In fact, I just saw her Friday. I go see a doctor about depression.
Mm-hmm.
And she was on teaching staff at St. Luke's.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what would it cost if I went to St. Luke's and saw you in your clinic there? And she goes, it would be 8,000 to 10,000 pesos per doctor visit.
Mm-hmm.
I pay $2,000 here.
Wow, that's pretty good.
And she is authorized by the VA to treat me.
Mm-hmm.
The VA has yet to reimburse me, but that's a whole nother story. And
They will one day. They will one day.
yeah, they'll reimburse me when I can go 12 rounds and Pac-Man loses.
Okay, well, that's all good then. It sounds like so. Now, a lot of people, I've gotten a lot of conversations with you with this. It almost every time we talk about this medical thing, it goes sideways. You know, when I talk about it with other people, for example, as soon as you said you were self-insured, I was like, oh, he knows what he's doing. I mean, because here in the Philippines, they keep talking about, oh, you can get health insurance, right? And you're looking at YouTube. This guy living in the Philippines is 30 some years old, and he's raving about Pacific Cross and the other one.
There's a lot of medical coverage available in the Philippines. 99.99% of it stops at age 55. They will not cover you at age 55 and a half. You can't buy into their policy.
Oh, I mean, it drives me kind of crazy, you know, because you can't get if you go in there and you're my age, you're 66. You go in there, you start talking to them about insurance. They go, have you heard of Cigna Health before? I mean, they these guys, you know, they will insure you, and the premium will be very expensive, but you don't get any coverage for it. So I
Yeah,
mean, once you, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
it won't cover you for what you would normally need for your
Exactly.
medical care.
Right.
I mean, what they going to do? Teach you how to basket weave? Well, I don't need to know how to basket weave.
Exactly the truth. And so people come in there. So we see all these videos out there, right, on YouTube. They're all saying, "Ah, you can get health insurance," and blah blah blah. I keep trying to explain to them, you take care of your health insurance while you're in the States. So, I mean, the best thing that could ever that ever happened to me was turning age 65, because then I get Medicare, and then I have my choice of supplementals. And so I got Cigna Health for the supplementals. I have the best insurance coverage that you can get for less than $300 a month. You would pay 12 or 1500 bucks a month anywhere else for that for international health insurance. And they will
What
reimburse me if I have to be admitted into a hospital in the Philippines.
the key point with any medical insurance, except for PhilHealth, the patient has to pay for the procedures and pay cash for everything. Then they can submit paperwork to their healthcare provider, to their insurance provider, and they will reimburse you when they darn well please.
Well, except I'll tell you, except I've had a couple of friends that have had Kaiser Permanente in California, and they reimbursed them ASAP. They just said, "Send us the bills, and we'll send you a check," and so it was hassle free. So
But
I think, yeah,
that is very, very rare. Usually it takes 6 months or more to get reimbursed.
I never heard that story from anyone. I'll tell you, I've never
And
heard the six. Yeah,
I've heard that from many foreigners.
I would say that if you're getting reimbursed in 6 months, you know, the insurance you're carrying probably isn't the people you want to be with. Because Cigna Health, the experts in international health insurance, they invented the game overseas. You know, what does Jerry have to say? In under 3 months, I will arrive in Piñas. Laguna Province will be my home for 3 weeks. That sounds like fun, Jerry. Yeah, man, Mindy and I we're gonna be up. We're gonna be up there pretty soon.
But
You're up near
Laguna,
Manila, right? Laguna's near Manila.
no, it's south of Manila.
Oh, it's south of Manila. Yeah.
But Laguna is a very industrialized area. They make some Toyota cars in Laguna. They make all their industry is in Laguna. I have a friend who runs the food service for the Toyota establishment in Laguna.
So
But,
now, Tim, you were saying, backing up a little bit. I hope you don't mind me backing the thing up a little bit. You were talking
No,
about
no.
how you, since you knew you were going to have this surgery, you had saved up for it. And so, how inconvenient was it for you to save up? Did it squeeze your budget in order to save the money up in anticipation of?
It didn't really squeeze the budget, but it was, I went in, saw the doctor on the 15th of February, the surgeon, and he did the procedure on the 28th. So I didn't even have time to get money from the States.
Uh-huh.
So
Oh, man.
So
He went in there quick. Huh?
I had plenty of money. I
Uh-huh.
just had no way of getting it.
Oh, I gotcha.
So I had to do a little by hook and by crook, and I got the money.
Okay, yeah, it's like most of us. Most of our money is in a bank account somewhere, or it's in our Fidelity account or something like that. Mike Marriott is saying you should have at least 20K on hand in case of medical care. And many of you may have saw a friend of mine, Jeff. You may have seen an interview I did with him where he ended up having to go to the hospital for a heart problem, and his whole cost for the care in Ormoc at a very, very good hospital, very reputable, I think associated with Doctors Hospital at Cebu, as a matter of fact. The whole total bill was something like $2,600. So 20K is certainly plenty of money. I'm a 10K guy myself. I'm saying that's what I plan for is having 10K on hand. And it's difficult doing business that way here in the Philippines, because you actually, when you talk about having 10K on hand, unless you have residence, they restrict your account to a peso account only here in the Philippines. I don't know if you guys know it or not. And the reason is because at $10,000, you have to report it to the State Department. No bank here wants to do that paperwork.
Well,
So those
that's only part of the problem.
What's the other part?
Okay,
I'm all ears.
in the states, bank accounts are insured up to $500,000
Right.
through the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation.
Mm-hmm.
In the Philippines, they're only insured to 500,000 pesos, which is $10,000.
Oh, that sounds right. Yeah. So they really
So
don't want you to have the exposure in that account. The BPI told us to keep it under $8,000. So that means you have to keep a lot of cash on hand somewhere. You have to figure out, you either have to have credit cards ready to go, and they really don't want credit cards. They want cash.
Credit cards don't really exist in the Philippines. The Philippines is a cash-based society. If you have cash, you can get anything you want.
So true.
I mean, I don't even own a credit card.
Let me ask you this, Tim. My wife and I, we've been having this debate. I just want to talk to you about it. So I want to get your opinion. So I was telling her. So she keeps saying, you know, she has suggested. Not she doesn't bug me about this stuff, right? She has said on a couple of occasions that we need to get a safe. And I told her as soon as you go into the local safe store to buy a safe, everybody in the entire town knows that you went in there to buy a safe. I
And
said, so
what do people do when they have a safe? They put valuables in there. And then
exactly. Next thing
the
you know,
whole
they're breaking into your house looking for where the safe is.
bingo.
So I said, we can't do it that way. It seems logical. It seems like, the logical thing to do, except that everyone knows that you have it. That's the problem. Mildred is here. Hi, Mildred. Thanks so much for coming. 10 million
Hello,
people in the
Mildred.
screen. So Tim, do you keep cash on hand? I'm not saying in the house. I'm saying do you have cash available for emergencies, or is it all in the States?
Well, I can go to an ATM if the ATM is working.
Yes. That's
I
if it's working.
I have a dollar account. Well, I have $2 accounts in the Philippines,
That's because
two
you're a
di-
resident.
two different bank accounts, and
Tell
I
them
have a
how that
peso.
works. Tell them how that works, because a lot of people don't know.
Oh, becoming a resident?
Tell them what's required in order for you to get a dollar account, because I just let everybody know, man, Minnie and I can only have a peso account for right now.
It is very complicated. I mean, opening up a dollar account in the Philippines, I had to fill out maybe 5 times more paperwork than I filled out in my entire time in the Air Force and the Air Force Reserves and retiring from the Air Force Reserves. I probably filled out 200 pages of paperwork to get a dollar account. And then she goes, "Your signature doesn't look the same on page 182 as it does on page 3." Oh, geez.
That's the Philippines in a nutshell. You're killing me. That's funny as
And
hell.
they
Very
wonder
sad.
why the signature doesn't match.
Oh no. Did they make you re-sign it?
I had to do the whole process all over again.
You mean you had to sign every document again?
Had to fill out everything again.
Oh no. That is terrible.
And I
Terrible.
said, not going to happen. That's my signature. It matches what's on my ID card. Live with it. Well, it doesn't match our records. I said, well, you better upgrade your records.
Oh my goodness gracious. But now everything is running smooth as silk.
Well,
Or is
in the Philippines, it's very difficult to find silk. You might find you might find a cheap polyester, but not silk.
Have you run into any problems recently with doing business with the bank? Other than that, have you gone into the bank, tried to withdraw money, and they say, you can't have all that money today. You have to wait. You have to wait till tomorrow. Something like that.
Well, see, I write checks and I deposit a check, 1 or 2 checks per month into my
Mm-hmm.
Philippine banks.
Mm-hmm.
It takes them 24 days to cash the check and deposit the money and credit my account.
Right.
So, in fact, I have to do that tomorrow. I won't be able to get any of that money until probably the 1st of October.
Oh, so you had to build in. You had to build in 24-day lag time when you first to get things going.
Yes,
So for 24 days, you don't have access to those funds.
right.
So now the way we do it, and I don't know if this is going to last. I'm almost afraid to tell you how I do it. So the way we do it is my son is an equal partner on the bank account. And so all I do, in fact, I'm getting ready to send them the email to send the money to Minnie's bank account. So basically what I'll do, I'll just call them up and I'll say, wire the money to Minnie's bank account. And then within 48 hours, it's sitting in there already.
Now, see, that's fine. I don't have somebody to do that in the States.
Right. A lot of people
It's
don't.
like-
Yeah.
And my bank account in the States does not accept, will not do a online transfer of funds because they use the SWIFT program.
Well, yeah, she has a SWIFT number. We use a SWIFT. We use SWIFT.
My bank doesn't recognize SWIFT as a legal system.
Oh, is it a credit union?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's the reason why. It's a credit union, yeah.
But
yeah.
And they said, well, we can process it for you, but we'd have to do it with you live. You know, I can do it on Messenger. You know, I can talk to my banking agent. I can do it online through their banking app that I use. But we'll have to charge you $100.
Yeah, the fee, they don't charge a fee for us using it, but what they do is they will give you they'll give you an exchange on the Forex that will make you kind of, hit your head against the wall going, why are they giving me this rate? And so the way that Minnie and I decided to do it, we had a long conversation about this. We just decided that we just decided that going around and find the best deal for the best that'll give us the best rate is too much work. And so long as we're getting 50 to 1 on the exchange rate, it's going to float up and down no matter what you do. As you pointed out one time to me, it floats on an hourly basis. So you can get a rate now, and then an hour later you can go back and you get a different rate. And so far, it's working out okay. In other words, they've never gotten to the point where I thought they charged a fee or gave me an exchange rate that I couldn't figure out the reason why they were doing it. In other words, I've always been able to figure out what the rate is.
Tell you what, Jerry has a question for us. Question: am I allowed to create a bank account in the Philippines and transfer, let's say, $50 or $100 monthly? Probably not. But
yeah, that's what I'd say too.
It depends on the bank you go into, the actual location. BDO, where I go to BDO, they might not allow it, but you might find a BDO down the street that will. Even though they're following the same rule book.
Yeah,
every bank is the same.
I've heard this from a lot of people, what Mike's saying here. I send myself money by Western Union through the bank. So and then you're getting it fee free, or they're charging you like 99 cents, but then they're using the Forex exchange rate, and they're keeping the profit through the exchange rate. And so I mean, it's a good way of doing it. It's very reliable. It's very easy. You can send yourself money through the app. So I mean, it's another way to do it. I'm just spoiled. I just like the convenience of being able to send an email to my kid and then boom, in 48 hours, the money's sitting there in the bank account. So, I mean, that's pretty fast. It's not as fast as Western Union, but it's fast.
I never even tried to do Western Union from my credit union.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The thing is, why I don't like it is because Western Union has, they do this, right?
Rates.
Yeah, once every 6 months, I get a message. We need to re-verify that this is really you, and that bugged me, we cannot transfer the money until we do second verification process, and that happened to me a couple of times. I said, forget it. And that's why I asked my kid, would he be willing to do this? Because if there are any issues, all he has to do is just run down to the bank, which is next to his work, where he works, and say, hey, is there some problem that needs to be cleared up? And boom, it's done. See?
Now, I do go to the ATM here and use my American Credit Union ATM card.
Mm-hmm.
I make 2 withdrawals. That's my normal. I've been doing that for the last 11 years.
Yeah.
And one day I went, and it only let me do 1 draw. So I went back the next day, tried it again. Nothing.
Right.
Well, maybe it's just a time delay or whatever. And for 2 weeks, it wouldn't let me get any money out. I eventually called my bank on the banking app. But this is why we just hired new people and they changed your usage on your card. I said, you got to be kidding. She goes, I'm looking at it right now. You're in the system saying that you reside in the Philippines and you normally use this bank ATM with the ATM number of such and such. This ATM, the location, number, or this one. It doesn't vary. You go, you get 2 withdrawals at a time, and you're good to go. Well, they took the residing in the Philippines out of my ATM card control, and basically they shut me down.
Oh, yeah.
It took me over 2 hours texting them, in their system. And I went through 2 or 3 different departments because they thought it was a fraud.
Oh, yeah. I've been shut down for that before. Jerry is saying that he had problems with World Remit after 4 years of being a customer. I've been through it, Jerry. This is the other reason why I just gave up on all this crap. And then Mike Pryor had also said that he pays $4.99 and gets a better rate through Western Union than the bank. And I believe that to be 100% true. So I know I'm paying a little bit extra, but the convenience factor, it just, where I don't even have to think about it, too good to pass up. It really is for me. And it sounds like Mike has it dialed in with Western Union, so you keep using it. That's why I got out of the business of recommending who you should use when all these people started asking me to re-verify and ask me prove that I'm not a Colombian drug dealer. Stuff like that was irritating me.
Well, the crazy thing was my credit union in the States, I opened that account in 1995. They were asking, well, what was your supervisor's address in 1995 when you opened your account?
Yeah.
What was your telephone number?
Who in the hell knows?
I said, I'm lucky I knew the street I lived on, and I still know it. I mean, it's a parking lot now, but
Yeah, you're reminding me that when we added my kid to the account, the addresses all have to match when they run a credit report. Everything has to match so they could verify that is actually him. It's turning in really a fiasco to get all this financial stuff done, and there's more fun to come. Like I've been chatting about for a while on my live stream. There's more fun to come. I was telling my kid, we've been doing this now for a year and a half, transferring money. And sooner or later, they're going to question the transferring of the money out of the account. Why do you keep sending it to the same person in the Philippines? And he'll say, because that is my dad's wife and he's living there. So he spews those words, right? I am sure they will shut it down. So I've talked to him about that, and I've said, be careful what you say to those people when they come inquiring as to why you're transferring that money. Just say, oh, your mom and dad are world travelers, and they just happen, they pick up the money in the Philippines, they go to the next country. They go to Vietnam or Malaysia or Thailand. They travel all over the place. And then when I'm in Thailand, I make sure to use the ATM card at least once so they could see my presence in the country for verification purposes.
But you have to let your bank know that you're traveling, and you have to list the countries you're going to.
That's right.
Otherwise, they'll flag it as fraud.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Bank of America did flag my account as fraud, and they closed one of my accounts, one of my credit cards. Thank God they did, because they had somebody did get a hold of it on the dark web. What's it called? The dark web?
I don't know.
Something like that. What's it called? Anyway, Mike says I do my bank app. I have it in minutes from my home. Before I leave, I go to the bank. Yeah, and so this time, in case you want to know, this time, Man, Minnie, and I will be carrying a lot of loot back from LA. So there, if you find us in the airport, you see Dan carrying that funny looking briefcase, that's going to be packed with bills, because I'm getting tired of the whole mess,
Now
I'm
the
just gonna
crazy
pack
thing,
it full of money.
the crazy thing is, you have your passport.
Mhm.
Minnie has her passport.
Yeah.
Her name is your last name on the passport.
It's different.
She has her
Hers is
maiden
different.
name.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, because
And we've only had to explain it once in the Philippines and show them the marriage certificate.
They would flag it if you
Yeah.
both came
Mike
in
says,
with.
what flight? Mike says, what flight? Yeah. Oh, speaking of flights, Mike and Tim, so I'm traveling. I don't know if Mike knows this or not. Tim, I don't know if you know it. If you've been listening to my live stream, I went with what is it, Starlux, the new airline. When I found out that it's well funded and it's the son of EVA, but they keep
fly
sending
out
me they keep sending me messages saying that your flight's been changed to this, your flight's been changed to that. So far, it's no big deal. We're only talking minutes. 30-minute changes or 1 hour changes, but it's starting to annoy me.
But now Starlux flies from Cebu.
Yes.
Or Clark.
Yeah, we're flying Cebu. Yeah, that's right. They're flying out of Clark, right?
But unfortunately, for their flights flying from Clark, you have to fly to Taipei, Taiwan, and then fly to wherever.
Well, that's where we're going. We have a 2-hour layover in Taipei. It's a beautiful airport. Been there a few times. I love the airport, so I don't mind a 2-hour. I'm gonna buy Minnie and I one of those lounge tickets so we can go in there and eat like pigs in there while we're there in the airport.
Get this.
Drink all the booze so we're nice and drunk before we get on the plane.
2 weeks ago, just for giggles, I went to Google Flights and I put Clark to Vancouver, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And it came up with, business class ticket, which is what I requested. And they had me going on, who was it? Emirates.
Oh, yeah.
From here to Doha.
Yes.
To San Francisco, then up from San Francisco. And it was only 35,000 peso more than flying one of the Asian carriers. But that also included their business class lounges in Doha, which do not close at midnight. They're open 24 hours.
Man, oh man, I would have made up a reason to be in Vancouver. I would have, if I would have gotten a deal like that, I would have made up some kind of a reason to have to go to Vancouver.
Well, no,
That's
it
beautiful.
didn't matter, but just flying through Doha on the business class ticket for that airline, their business class lounge doesn't close.
So I wonder what would happen today if you were to. Yeah, that's right. I think most business class lounges, if they're in San Francisco, LA, the big cities, San Francisco, I don't think they close that shop. Or you go into Dubai, Taipei,
But
they should be open 24 hours a day.
I watched, I don't know what YouTuber it was. Somebody was just filming their vacation.
Mm-hmm.
They flew into Doha on a business class ticket. They got to the business class lounge. The hostess in the lounge said, "Well, sit here. This is what we have on the menu. How do you like your steak or your seafood?
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to drink? What's your salad?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll have that ready in a few minutes." And they cooked his steak to order. I think he ended up in the first class lounge because they don't do that in business class.
I've been in
They
business.
will. I've been in business class. They will have food available, but they're not going to cook to order.
Well, during the
Other than
during
maybe an omelet.
yeah, during the pandemic, during the great global pandemic, they were preparing most of the stuff to order. The ones that Mamini and I went through, but I mean that probably has all changed by now. So let's see. Mike Married says I go to the Philippine embassy, and when I bring more than 10K cash, get paperwork done before I bring. Yeah, and so that's the debate that Minnie and I are having right now, Mike. Is that if we bring 10K each or 20,000 US dollars, which I think is probably the number, then
Well, you have,
yeah. Do you have to declare it? Yeah.
yes,
to
you
declare
do.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. I was thinking. See, because would they consider a separate entity? And I'm not sure they would. You know, why take the chance?
It's like they
Because she
showed a
has
lady. They showed a lady on, what was it, True Crime TV or something I was watching one time.
yeah.
And the lady had money stuffed in her undergarments. And she was bringing like $100,000 in cash. And they said, you're only allowed $9,999.
Exactly.
They let her keep $9,999 and they
And
confiscated the other money.
rest.
And, you know, those guys went out and had a nice dinner or good party after work.
Yeah, you know, in other words, they ain't giving it back either. You could appeal all you want. I've never heard anybody that was successful getting their money back.
No, they don't.
You know,
They don't refund.
they'll make you jump through a lot of hoops, and then you'll have to sue them in order to get the money. You know, because you have to show the origin of that cash, and the if you end up in a
trail.
yeah, if you end up in a court, right, and you could just imagine customs getting up there and testifying that you had it stuffed in your underwear. You know, right then and there, you've lost the case. Because the jury, if it's by jury or judge trial, they're going to be thinking, why did you put it in your underwear? You could say for safety all you want, but most people from that smuggling, you know, it
All
could have
they
been
would have had to do is declare it They
Yeah,
didn't
just
declare it.
declare it and have a paper trail. That's what we plan on doing. We're going to show point of origin. So that's the plan. So, in that way, for maybe 10 months of the year, we won't have to we won't have to impose on Craig, my kid, in order to send cash over.
Back in a minute.
So, all right. Well, let's see. What's the other thing? Oh, let's stuff the pig. Hey, oh, this is the surrogate pig. Guys, this is the surrogate pig because when I started, I didn't want to carry a whole bunch of stuff here because, we're going to be leaving for the United States on the 15th of October, and we're trying to get stuff back to Bye Bye City, not bring it over here. Even though things started out that way, we started packing going, hey, wait a minute. The only thing that should be left in the Cebu apartment by the time we leave are the bags that we're taking to the United States with us, to LAX. And so now we dumped everything out, and that included the piggy. I said, we've got the surrogate pig. And I think I already mentioned that in the last week of November, we'll combine these pigs into that one big blue one. This is yellow pig. And then we'll count up all the money, and then your best guess, we don't know how we're going to do that yet, is to figure out how much money is in the pig. If you figure it, then you're the one that gets it. However, we've been doing a whole bunch of thinking. Someone says, what if everybody in the chat guesses that they conspire and guess the same number? Well, if that happens, then we just take it and divide it by all the people in the chat. And each one, if there are 100 of you in the chat on the day, you all choose the same amount, you'll all get an equal amount of what is in the pig. You're not going to get the whole amount. It's going to be divided amongst the winners. So that's how we're going to do it. So that should dissuade anybody in here of of guessing the same number that somebody else guesses. And the other thing we'll probably do is we're probably going to have you do it by signing up for the Facebook account and then sending it to me over Messenger. And quite honestly, whatever you guess, I would want to keep it a secret. I wouldn't want somebody else knowing the number that I guess, because that would increase the possibility that they'll choose the same number. And then you'll end up having to divide the pot amongst you and a friend,
I will make a recommendation on that.
Yeah, please do.
If, for example, I guess 5,000 pesos.
Mm-hmm.
If the pig money totals 4,999 pesos, guess what? I went over. I'm broke. My guess does not count.
You mean eliminate the ones that go over the guessed amount?
Yes.
As opposed to, that's a very good suggestion. Thanks so much for that, Tim. So that's becoming law, you guys, because that makes total sense to me. If you guys bust and you go over it, then you're eliminated from the contest. All right, you're eliminated. Exactly. And it's the one that's the closest that is underneath or right at the guessed amount of money. That makes total sense to me.
Just like the Price is Right. If you go over,
there you go. All right, let's stuff the pig. Okay, I'm putting the bill in.
It better be a Philippine Eagle.
All right, so I don't know. Here's a bill. I don't know if you can tell by the color of it how much.
It's a 50.
Thanks a lot, Tim. Tim tells everybody it's a 50. That's what it is. All right.
Well, they can see it as well as I can.
Yeah, write it down, folks. There, Dan put in 50 on this day, this night. And now all you got to do is watch the rerun if you missed this part of it. And I'm putting in some coins. What are those, Tim?
I can't see.
Yeah, they're coins.
That's a 5. That was a 1.
Minnie's sitting over here laughing. All right, we stuffed the pig. Oink, 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 oink. I like the sound it makes. All right, we stuffed the pig. Man, the piggy's getting full. And now, you know what time it is, Tim? Time to get Ma'am Minnie over here so she could pull a winning number for us. Now, let's see. Added to this drawing for 200 pesos is Yen. I think you say it Irene. We would say Irene in the States, but they pronounce the E Rine. Yen Irene Sai. And then I think I pronounced that right. And then you got Ronalyn Fuentes. Now I was telling Ronalyn that Fuentes are my cousin's names in the States. Dan and his sounds. Yeah. I love the sounds.
Now,
you can see my YouTube videos. We laid an egg. Is that the way to say it? Yeah, we laid an egg on the last one, which was basketball, where Minnie was showing that she's a sharp shooter. And then also the froggy, which I thought were going to be okay because we put some pretty awesome ASMR sound in there, but they didn't go anywhere. They didn't even, I don't think one of them even hit 300, and the one today only hit, I don't think either one of them went over 300. Maybe one of them did. But anyway,
hey, Dan.
Tomorrow we have a short that's going up that'll surprise you all because, of course, we need a short video where we will get a guaranteed 2,000 views on it. And so tomorrow's the day. So probably we're going to do a repeat of one of the other videos, but it's not going to be the same video. It'll be altered. And we haven't decided if we're going to do alien, if we're going to do vending machine, if we're going to do miniature water cooler at the office. We're going to come up with something. We're going to film that in the morning. Number 29, Elvie, you need to be spanked for your subject matter on your live stream today. You need to be naughty Filipina. I saw you in there, Mike. I know you were there. Ma'am Minnie saw you. My asawa, Elvie. Yeah, it's not your asawa.
Dan.
Yes.
Isn't it a little late to go out for a coffee and a Bavarian cream donut at this time?
Yeah, it sure is. So we won't be doing that. As a matter of fact, we went over to the mall and we did some shopping. We picked up a few things from the Mr. DIY. Mr. DIY is growing like crazy all over the Philippines and all over the world. Plastic, useless garbage made in China. Stuff like this. See this?
And you still line up for an hour. You still line up for an hour to buy it.
That's what I mean. They had only one clerk working there, right, Minnie? One clerk adding everything up, doing the cash register. Oh, I don't know why that kills me when I do that. The original topic was the year we want to be in. I really don't know what made the topic to something naughty. I must have been, I must have been in somebody else's live stream. All right. It could be. I didn't see your face. Did you show your face, LV? All right. I know there are other people giving away money tonight. So without further ado, I know you guys want to get over into the other live streams, the other people that are giving money away. Man, Minnie, come on over here. Man, Minnie, they want to see you in your boy shorts. Mike wants to see you in your little boy shorts.
Hi, Sir Ken. How are you?
Hi, Minnie.
All right, here you go. Pull out a winner chicken dinner.
Where's the mic?
Oh my gosh, I don't even have it listed yet. All right, today's winner is, you guys look it up and tell me who it is. Number 10.
Oh, that's lucky number.
Lucky number 10. First shout out for number 10. First
Yay,
shout
number
out.
10.
Number 10.
Charlie. Charlie.
Second
Preston.
shout out. for number 10. Number 10, are you here? What? She said, what? That was my stream. They were talking about how
Hi,
other
guys.
wives call their husbands as banana. Yeah, it got out of hand. That's what I think. It got out of hand. Third shout out for number 10. Third call out. Pacquiao Mertz, where are you anyway? Pacquiao Mertz. I know she's been busy. She's lending her support to the channel any way that she can. I appreciate it. Number 10, fourth shout out. That's Ann Dowman. And she comes in here every once in a while, right? She does a lot of good work for me, sharing out my stuff. And final call out, final shout out for number 10. Oh, no winner. All right, man, Minnie.
Sir Mike, Ate Cora. Sir Mike, make me fun.
All right, another one. Next one.
Famous.
Inside job.
Only
Number
that is famous.
95, it looks like. Number 95. First call out for number 95. Who is it? Who is it? Who is it?
That's for certain.
Risa Centeno. First shout out, number 95.
Hello, LD.
Risa Centeno.
Didn't see her.
Didn't see her either. Shout out. Third call out for Risa Centeno. Number 95. Not in the house so far. Fourth call out for Risa Centeno. Number 95. Fifth and final shout out for Risa Centeno. Not here. All right, next one. Come on, we got to find a winner. We got to get a winner. 200 peso winner. All right, number. Oh, that's a good number. All right, next one is number 43. Number 43 is Jason.
Oh,
That's Dez's hubby,
his
right?
husband.
First shout out for Jason Creticio, Dez's old man. Number 43.
Later,
I've
Second
not seen that either.
call out, but he's close by, I'm sure. I think he came in earlier and said hello. Where am I? I lost my count. Third call out for Jason. Jason, you here? Is Dez here? Anybody? All right. What number is that again? Number 43. Fourth call out for number 43.
Well, LV 29.
Jason. How do you say the last name? Creticio.
Ratio.
Dez's old man, Dez's husband, Dez's other half. Final call out for number 43. Jason is not present. You got to be present to win. All right. Next one. Here we go. Here we go. Shake it, baby. Shake it. Shake it, baby. Shake it. What do you got? A good number for us? Do you have a good number? Oh, I think this one is. This has got to be a winner. Number 31. I have not seen any of these people, unless it's one of your ninja accounts. Fenelon 08, number 31, going once. Fenelon 08, number 31, going twice. Fenelon number 31, 08, going 3 times. Fenelon 08, number 31, going 4 times. Final call out for Fenelon number 31. It's over. Man, Minnie's her arm's gonna get tired by the time we get a winner. This is our.
Yeah, that's good. It takes too long.
She's gonna fish for another one for the fifth time. Oh, that's loud. Oh, let me see what you got. All right, this one looks good. Oh no, number 29.
Who's that?
Number 29.
Who's that?
First call out for LV. Number
That was
29.
sad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Going once.
This is for you. You're
Second
lucky girl.
call out. Number 29. Going twice.
LV,
Yeah.
say present.
Congratulations, LV, but say
Congratulations.
present. There you go. All right. LV's the winner chicken dinner.
I think she
What
has
the hell
to.
just- What the heck just happened here? You know, where LV wins.
I think
was
LV
Oh my God,
LV is
for
going to have to donate that to a different party. You know, donate it
LV
to
was
the
talking
church.
about in the live stream how broke she is. So I'm kind of happy. She said she doesn't even have two
That's
1
very
peso
lucky, huh?
coins to rub together, you know. And so LV, 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 LV. LV's the winner tonight. 14 million people in the house. Thanks so much for joining Tim and I tonight. We appreciate you guys being here. And Tim,
Minnie, take care.
yeah, Tim, we're going to be up there. We're going to be up there
Hope to see
soon.
you again in there.
Yeah, it won't be long. I think it's going to happen. I don't know. It might happen the end of the month. We'll have to wait and see. We're coming up there. We're going to find out what happened to her paperwork. So
Yeah.
we're going to find
Well,
out what
I'm a
happened to
long
her
ways-
immigration stuff.
I'm a long
LV,
way from Manila, so
congratulations again. Tim, thanks so much for
It's
being
your
on the
time,
live.
Peter, always.
You guys take care always. Larry Lee is
Guys.
in the house, so you know his mantra. And we'll see everybody. Thanks for everybody for honoring me by showing up. Mike,
Hey, Dan.
married.
You're
Yep.
welcome.
All right,
LV.
take care, guys. Bye bye.
Dan, can I say something before you shut
Yeah,
down?
absolutely, absolutely.
All you folks that are here, stop over and check out my channel. Leave a comment.
Yeah, why aren't you
Yeah.
guys over there giving him a hard time?
That's right.
We're gonna
I
try
mean,
and
there's-
convince him to fire up his live stream because he's got skills. So we'd like to hear
Charlie.
from him. All right, go over and sign
There
up,
you
you
go,
guys, and
guys.
watch those educational videos at the Walking Street. I don't know how educational those are, but the rest of the stuff
Well,
about the
They were
history of money and stuff.
LV's channel was talking about bananas, so good fit.
And from what I understand, she's a fan of the banana, and they're very, very tasty. You know, so bye,
It's
everybody. See you later. How do I get out of here?
Take care,